OMFL.
Can't touch this.
And you're in the mix with KindaRealNate. Here's another OMFL production.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Press Pass Live, your weekly podcast show for the OMFL. We are so excited that you're tuning in with us, and guess what? It is here. The start of Season 80 is officially here. I think officially in 2 hours, but officially to me, it is here. And let me quickly welcome in my two guests with me, Mr. D. Wayne and Mr. Dawson. We are Sharp Maniac, but we got the two stud muffins. Guys, how you doing?
Pretty good.
All good over here, Nate.
Day off now.
Good. I, too, have deserved a long-awaited day off. And I am your host, the Commissioner, KindaRealNate. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to quickly jump into this. My two guys are on a little tight timeline, and because we had some disconnects in my game, I wasn't able to get to this a little bit sooner. You got to excuse me. Some reason the internet's a little slow today, so there may be a little lag or here and there, but hopefully we will get through it as quickly as we can. But let's just jump right into it. Man, Season 80 is here. We're going to be playing all 4 preseason games just so we can do some last-second testing, get our hands on some All-Madden and some All-Pro sliders. The vote was right smack down the middle, 50-50, and so we're going to play the first 2 weeks on All-Pro. Not a fan of those, but the last 2 weeks on All-Madden, we'll do a little revote. We'll kick off week 1 with whatever the best decision for the league is going to be. So let's hop right into it and start talking some football. Start talking, I don't know why this is lagging behind here, but start talking about some standings and get some predictions here as soon as I can get this to load up. That's what we're going to do. So let me try this one more time. Don't know why this is being so difficult for me today. But what are you guys looking forward to the most here in Season 80? We've had the game for a little, I don't know, 10 days, whatever it's been. It's been longer than 10 days. I guess it's been 20 days. My goodness. What are you guys excited about the most as we roll into Season 80? Dawson, I want to start with you.
Yeah, we've been having a game, I guess, throughout the month of August. Tomorrow will be September, so for quite a while now. And just to me personally, I just kind of look more for a balance, trying to understand these new XP, the system, try to understand, just the way, there's always little kinks, and with Madden 19, it's somewhat similar to Madden 18, but there's a lot of other different stuff, and we just kind of have to look forward to that and kind of manage and handle if there's a situation arises throughout the upcoming seasons. Through the cycle. So pretty excited about the season. Want to start fresh. Went over the NFC, so I believe in probably not a tougher but more equal division than I was last cycle. So not really changing any game plan or anything. Just kind of for me personally, just kind of limit turnovers and go from there.
So a quick follow-up about that. You were in the NFC with the Rams. You went over to the Chargers for Madden 18. Are you excited about being back in the NFC? Your buddy left the NFC and went over to the AFC, so I figured you might have stayed there. But are you glad that you're back in the NFC?
Yeah, well, Priest, he won't let anybody have the Packers, though. And, that's my team in real life. And I'm saying this now, but Priest, if you don't win the division this cycle, you got to give me the Packers or give Andrew the Packers. We got to switch it up around. But I'm just playing with that. I am pretty excited as far as just a fresh start. I do started with the Rams. That's the team I kind of landed when I first got in here in OMFL. And then I chose Chargers mainly because it was Hunter Henry from Arkansas was playing there, and I just wanted to change things up with Redskins. It's going to, with the new running back, we got Geis over there, so hopefully he's going to be able to perform and give me those rushing, I guess that rushing attack that I really desperately needed last year.
All right, Dwayne, what are you looking forward to the most when we talk about Madden 19 and Season 80?
Well, I like, from what I've seen so far, I really like the way this new Madden plays. It's different. Like Dawson said, there's a lot of like to the last Madden, but I really like the way it just seems like the player movement mechanics work on it so far. I really like it. I like the way when somebody gets hit, you tell they get hit. And like I said, the defensive animations that I've noticed so far throughout the thing, they bring a new, I guess, a dynamic to the defensive side of the ball. It just looks real per se. But I'm also looking forward to, we got some new faces. We got some new faces moved around. And we got old faces moved around. Like you were just saying, I went to the AFC after being in the NFC for the last 2 cycles. Me and Dakota have a rule. I can't be in the same conference as him. No, that's not really a rule, but I do try to avoid playing Dawson as much as possible. I want him to be my friend outside of Madden. But no, I think I'm looking forward to the new rivalries. I'm looking forward to seeing these. Like I said, you have a lot of shake-up, a lot of new stuff. You're going to see people play each other that we didn't see people play the last couple Maddens. And I just think it's going to be fun. Like I said, you see the excitement that we've had so far. You see people trade, and you see the waiver wire blowing up. I've had about 4 or 5 guys message me today asking how to post here and how to post there, and it's just exciting. The first start of Madden's always exciting, but to see people get excited and ready to write up articles in their teams and stuff like that, it's just that good time of the year.
Yep, I think there's a whole lot to be excited about here. So let's just jump right into it. We're going to start in the AFC. Let's start with the AFC South. I'm going to go ahead, since Dwayne, you're new over there, I'm going to let you go second. Dawson, now, even though you're in the NFC, you are, like, you were there. You were in the AFC. You know what the big wigs are over there. So tell me, what are your AFC South predictions?
Yeah, like Dakota was saying, there's been a little ownership switching. Jaguars is still, the owner is still Brady. Titans is now, Bill is over there. He's going to be managing that team. Then you got UNVMe. He's still with the Texans, and then you got Dakota trading in the black and red for the blue and white now. So I think now, last cycle, I think throughout the cycle, this division was always mix and match. I mean, there was always a different division leader. Sometimes it was Jason coming out in first place, and then some it was Brady and Jags. And then Massimo, I think he won the division that 1 year before he switched over to the Cowboys. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see, especially when you got Bill and Dakota in there now. Brady, I think he's the lone AFC South guy. UNVMe, I think he was with another team before he went over here, or to the South. I can't really go against Dakota just because, I'm going off based from the previous cycle on how everybody plays. Of course, Bill is going to be a tough competitor. He dominated, as much as I don't want to say, he dominated with the Vikings in the NFC North. So he's going to be a tough opponent for Dakota. Brady, that defense is going to be loaded. It's going to be a question as far as if Brady can have a passing attack or have an offense to counteract some of those games where he can't stop the opponent offense. So in the end, I want to go with the Indianapolis Colts on claiming the division. But I wouldn't be surprised to see the Titans come up there, especially with Mariota, with them back. They in real life they made the playoffs, and now they're back, and they're actually a playoff contender this year. So that roster is built to win right now.
All right, Dwayne, break it down for me. Who do you think is going to win that AFC South, I should say? Even though it's your division, you got to be honest with us.
Well, honestly, I'm flattered by what Dakota said. Honestly, I appreciate that. But like I said, man, this division is so tough. You got 4 teams that have been in the playoffs. 3 of them have been division champions, and if I'm not mistaken, the Texans might have been the division champ 1 or 2 years after Massimo left. If I'm not mistaken, he's a really solid owner. Uh, Man, you got the Jacksonville Jaguars with just a solid defense, but in a running game that is parallel to none probably in this league. But his biggest question is passing, and honestly, with the way guys play defense and the guys really want to stop the run, you got to be able to pass the ball, and that's the only question mark. That's the only thing that just stops me from saying Brady's the division champ right offhand. And I say this because I just think the Jaguars are light years above the Titans, Colts, and Texans, at least roster-wise, right off the bat. And I think Brady is smart enough to know that and play to his strengths. And but he's going to have to get out of the box and pass the ball. And I watched him play against you earlier in the preseason, and the passing is still a question mark. The passing is a big question mark for him. He can run the ball. We know that, and he can play defense. Passing is just a big question mark. Bill with the Titans is going to be Bill. He's going to be Bill. No matter where Bill goes, Bill's going to be Bill. He's going to be solid. He's going to bring. He's going to bring a hard-nosed defense with a very balanced offense. The Texans, they bring something that the other 3 of us don't have. I think he's so explosive. I think he's very explosive on the offensive side of the ball, and I think he flies around defense with speed. And then you got my Colts, who are, man, they're kind of tough out of the box. I'm not writing myself off at all. I'm gonna try to be in every game. I'm gonna try to win this division, and I'm trying to kind of revamp the Colts into more of a Wayne style defense. But I do, if I had to say right now, I think it's hard pressed to go against Brady. I do think that you'll have 2 playoff teams out of this division. I think you'll have the second team will be a playoff team. I just have a hard time going against Brady right out of the box. I do think he'll pass just enough to hang in there. And, man, he's got 2 of the best cornerbacks in the league, and he's got one of the best defenses in the league. I'm going to say Brady comes out of the South, but I do think you have another playoff team, and I'll leave that one up to debate who that playoff team is.
You can tell both my buddies have not been on the show for a while. We just spent 10 minutes, and we ain't even out of the AFC just yet. I really like Jacksonville to come out of this division. It's nothing against anybody else. This is going to be one of the best divisions in football. The Colts are going to need to build time to build that roster. It is not the Atlanta Falcons from Madden 18. Dwayne's just going to need a little bit of time to get the right players. I look for that team to be the mover and the shaker in Season 2. I'd say the same thing for Bill and the Tennessee Titans. I think it's just going to take him a while. It's not the Minnesota Vikings defense that he had in Madden 18. He's going to have to get the right pieces. He's going to have a better offense with the Tennessee Titans than he did with the Vikings. But I think that defense, which is what Bill is known for, is going to take some time to build. Houston Texans are a wild card to me. I just don't know what to expect from them, really. He's got a pretty good roster. He's got some playmakers. I think this is Brady's to lose. It would not shock me at all, though, if the Colts are able to make some few moves to get the pieces that he needs to win this year. Look for the Jaguars, the Colts, and the Titans to battle this out, but I do see the Jaguars coming out on top in this one. The AFC North, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Browns, and the Cincinnati Bengals. One of the few divisions, divisions that haven't really been touched since Madden 18. These are basically the same guys that played the last couple of seasons together. D-Wayne, we're going to go for you on this one. What do you see happening in the AFC North?
The AFC North is I don't want to be that guy. It's Cincy's division, and I think 99% of people would agree with that. I think it's Cincy's division to lose. I think the Browns are a solid young team. Chaotix is probably one of, if not the best defensive owner in this league. He puts a defense on the field that really covers up what he lacks on offense, and I've never quite understood that about Chaotix and his teams. Because Chaos is a really smart guy, really good at football guru. Offensively, he's just never figured it out. And but defensively, he stays in the game, and that defense will win you a lot of games, and the defense will keep you in games. If he can ever figure the offense, I honestly think that could be Cleveland's division with the pieces they've added this last year offensively. The Ravens are a question mark in my mind because he is a great owner. He is a great user on the sticks. The Ravens just have a lot of deficiencies on both sides of the ball. But he does have a star quarterback in Lamar Jackson, who I don't know if he's going to play him this first year or not. I'm almost certain he is. With his legs and his arm, he can change the game. He can stand those 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7s, scroll the pocket and get first downs. I think he's a team that will battle for that second spot with Cleveland. And one team that's going to disappoint me is the Steelers. And I say this, and if I'm not mistaken, Jennings still runs the Steelers. He's just so out of touch. I think it's hard for him to keep up in that division because you got 3 football gurus in that division with him. I just think it's hard, even though he's got a loaded Steelers team. The Steelers getting old, and he needs to enjoy these first couple seasons because he might not have Bale after this first season, might not have Big Ben, and he's going to be overpaying for Antonio Brown. And I just think that if he don't take advantage of this first season or two, that he's going to be hard for him to stay in that loop. He just got to be more in touch, and I'll go back and rethink this division. But I think it's Cincy's division, and I don't until somebody proves me wrong, it's Cincy Bird.
Yeah, that's hard to argue with. You can't argue with it at all. I can't agree more with you about the Steelers. Just going to take him some time, but if he's going to make a move, it's got to be this season. That team's going to get old. It's going to get old really fast. I love Mackey. He is one of my favorite people in this entire league. It's going to take him some time to get used to Madden 19. The poor guy has been working doubles for a month, so I don't even know how much of the game he's actually played. I think that this could be the Browns and the Bengals year to really battle this out. I love the Cleveland roster. I think that it has a lot of potential in real life. I know that this might fit chaotic system, though. I think he's going to need a few little pieces on that the defense, but he's going to have a much better offense to play with in Madden 19. And I agree with you. I think the Bengals have it from start to finish, top to bottom. The roster that he needs to win. He's already a great player, and so there's not really a whole bunch here that he's going to need to do. This is his division to take. Dawson, how do you see the AFC North coming out?
Oh, well, y'all pretty much said it all. As right now, it's still Cincy's team. I know, he's got the young pieces that he's going to be able to, if he train them right and build them right, he's going to be able to compete in the later seasons. And same thing with Mackey. You know, he's a great owner. Like you said, he's been working a lot, so he might not have been able to play the game as much as what some of us have been. And Jennings, we don't really see him very often. I think, if I could be mistaken, he's a teacher, so he's kind of busy at the moment now. School just starting. But he has a loaded Steelers team that's ready to win right now. So he's going to compete early. His better chances of competing would be now or next few seasons, and then rebuild mode. But for the time being, I'm going to go with Cincy and the Bengals until I guess we were proven wrong.
Yep, I couldn't agree with you guys more. I think it's going to be a really tough division. Now let's move over to the AFC West. You got the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Broncos. Not a ton of movement there, but you do have a new Chargers owner. This is going to be a fun division to see how it plays out because there is a lot of potential and a lot of playmakers in this division. And the Raiders, I do think, will be one of the top teams. Look for the Chargers to make a run, though. A lot of talent there. Can they put it all together? I think a little bit like the Steelers, another team that's going to get old pretty quickly. The Chiefs has a lot of young talent on that team. Running back, quarterback, receivers should be set. That defense just got old and lost some big playmakers. I like the Oakland Raiders to win this division. I do not see a wild card coming out of the West or the North. I do see it coming out of the East and the South. And so because of that, I think everyone is going to be chasing for that division title. That will be probably the only way that teams can get in. I do like the Oakland Raiders to win this all. I think from top to bottom, they have the entire talent that they're going to need to win. They've got the quarterback. They've got a good running back. They've got receivers, pretty good offensive line, a really good defense that can fly around and make some plays. Denver Broncos has the potential to maybe make a play there. And again, I like the Chargers and the Chiefs. You know, it just depends on can they put it all together, right? Sox fan has a lot of talent there to play with, and they would probably be the team that I would kind of lean towards if I had to pick one to give the Raiders a run for their money. Dawson, how do you see the AFC West playing out?
Yeah, like you said, Raiders, J-Bowles, we kind of split last cycle, so he's still got the Raiders, the silver and black. He's got Jordy Nelson over there now. He's still got that top defense with Mack over there. So he's in a win now mode, and I think right now it's going to be his division until we later see in the season. Like you said, Shocks fan, he's got speed over there. He's got Mahomes, who's going to be able to throw the whole football field and through the whole football field. You got Chargers Smash. We switched, and he's a great owner as far as when you see his teams that he owns, they progress up. They don't really stay mediocre or anything. You saw with the Jets, and you also saw with the Cardinals, and I think before that he was with the Bears. You got Broncos, Jay Glaze. I think he's kind of in and out, with life and everything. But he is bringing over his import, that star receiver. So that's going to be a deep threat and probably one of his main weapons, offensive weapons. I want to see. I see Raiders, taking the division, but all other owners will be able to compete. And fight for that division crown. But I want to say Smash and Chargers will be the best right now, especially with Rivers. He's aging, and he's right now his talent level is up there to compete with Raiders. And like you said, I do only see one playoff team coming out of this division, as well as the AFC North.
Dwayne, how do you see this playing out over in the AFC West?
Well, I think Dawson said it well when he talked about the Broncos and that star receiver they got. I just think, I don't know if he has enough weapons all around except for that receiver. And with the way that the secondary has played so far, especially, if we do make that transition to all Madden, forcing that ball to that receiver is going to get really dangerous. As good of a receiver as he is. Glaze can do it. Glaze is probably one of the most prolific offenses we have here, always has been. Then you go to the Chargers and Smash. Chargers are just one of the deceptive teams out of the box this year. They actually have some really good players. You have a lot of talent, one of the best young safeties in the league. I think he's going to be right up there in this division, fighting for that top spot. The Chiefs are solid. They did make that transition to Mahomes. They got some pieces. They got the fastest player in the game in Tyreek Hill. You got a star running back. Man, you got some pieces there. I just don't think this first year he will be up there with who I'm fixing to announce, who I think will win this division, is the Oakland Raiders. I think the Raiders have all the pieces in place. I think he, like I said, he got really good with – he still got Mack, he still got Carr, still got Cooper. You got some really solid pieces there. I mean, it's hard to pick him. He's just so well-rounded. He's such a good owner, player, all around. I think it's really hard to go against the Raiders in this division. I think the Broncos and Chargers will push him for that division spot. I do think you could see a second team out of this one in the playoffs. That's just my opinion. I know Dawson said he didn't think he would see a second one out of here. I think the Raiders win it, and I think it's a toss-up between the Chargers and Broncos, who's in second place in this division. I think the Chiefs will pull up last. Nothing against the Chiefs. I think they could be a 500 team. I just think that's a deep division. I think Dawson found that out last year. You have three. You have especially the Raiders and Broncos are two solid owners who've been there for a long time. I think it's the Raiders, and if I had to choose, I would go with the Chargers coming out as a wild card team out of that division. I just think Smash is really good. He's solid. He knows how to play. And I just don't think Glaze has got that star receiver enough talent around him to make that leap yet.
Yep, that's going to move us over to the AFC East. You got the Patriots, the Jets, the Dolphins, the Bills. A lot of movement between the Jets and the Patriots this past offseason. I think the Patriots went to maybe three owners with all the flip-flopping that went around. So, Dwayne, how do you see the AFC East playing out?
Well, I think this is I'm not even going to say it one person, but I think it's Miami's division to lose. I think Kevin, I know he don't have a lot of pieces in place right now. And I know that the Patriots are very overpowered. But I just think Kevin, man, he's been in that division for so long. I think he plays with, if I'm not mistaken, that's his favorite team, right? It's the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think so.
And he really carries with that Dolphins team. He plays really solid defense. And when his offense is on, it's on. I've seen it. It's nearly unstoppable when he's on his game. But I will have to go with the Dolphins. Winning this division, I think Buffalo and New York are maybe a season away. I think they got some pieces to plug in. Unless you start making some moves now, guys. You start making some moves and getting some pieces. And I know you kind of sacrifice a little bit of your future to win now in that situation. But from my perspective, it's worth it. But the Buffalo has a solid young quarterback and a few pieces around him. And Tom is a great owner and a great player. He can be in every game, no matter what team he has. The Jets, I love Jamal Adams. I know I keep riding these safeties left and right here. but he's a great defensive piece to build around. Clyde is a great owner and a great player. I think within maybe not this season, but next season, he will be the guy to compete with in that division. I think Kevin will have to watch out for him because Clyde's just another person. He's a great owner, and he just runs a great system with the Jets. And I think Tanner going to the Patriots is a big move because I've seen Tanner, and Nate can speak for this too last year in the South. When Tanner's on his game, Tanner's hard to beat.
Yeah.
He's one of the best user linebackers we got here, and he can shut down the middle of the field with a linebacker. He doesn't have a Quan in New England, but he does have a man named Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. And even though, if I'm not mistaken, I think I told Dawson, I think Brady, if I'm not mistaken, retires after 1 year. That's a big gap to fill. But he ain't gonna worry about this year. He's got a loaded team out of the box. I do think it's the Dolphins division, but I think New England pushes in for it. And like we said earlier, I thought you might have a second team out of the West. That second team out of the West will be fighting New England for that last wild card spot. I figure it'll be a 9-7, 10-6 teams fighting for that sixth wild card spot or that second wild card spot, but the sixth seed. It ought to be interesting. I do think the AFC, and I'm probably gonna catch some slack from my colleagues on this one. I think the AFC is the weaker division right now, or weaker conference. Even with the additions of me and Bill and Tanner. Coming over here, I still think we're the weaker conference. I think the NFC is going to be a lot more congested and a lot harder to predict. I think the AFC has its big dogs right now, and I think it has a few unknowns. But the AFC should be an interesting conference to watch and see how it shapes out.
All right, you guys said a short show, but we're 30 minutes deep, not even through the AFC. Dawson, give me your AFC East predictions.
All right. Well, I know Dakota said it is Kevin's division, but I think with a few changes, with Tanner going to Patriots and Jason going to the Jets, I think all these can compete and win the division. So it's a kind of up in the air, in my opinion, on who will win this team, especially with the rosters that are coming out of the box. Because we know the Patriots are loaded, but does Tanner have enough time to put his focus on winning now, or does he like the rebuild mode? Same thing with Jets, or not Jets, the Dolphins. I know Kevin, he kind of built that team up and made it all the way up to the AFC Championship the last cycle. So he gradually moved up. And just for a preseason favorite, I guess, I'm going to go with the Jets. Just because I know Jason, the way he plays, he played in AFC South with the Titans. He always competed. He's always, majority of the time, he was at that 10-6, 11-5 record. And I think a few times we even played in the playoffs last cycle. So, but preseason favorite, I'm going to go with the Jets. I think all of them will be able to compete for the division. I think just the way Jason plays on defense, especially, and especially the way the rosters are right now.
Yep, I can't argue with that. I think Dwayne, I kind of agree about the AFC. Just, I think talent Madden-wise, like player Madden-wise, it is the weaker division. But I think human coach-wise, it's actually a really strong division. I think the East is one of those instances. I think Josh with the Bills, he just doesn't have a good team. It's going to take him a while to build that team, but he's figured out his gameplay, and he's going to be a solid player. Miami, again, it's going to take him some time to build that team, but once he does, we know what Kevin can do. You got Tanner going from the Bucs over to New England, another team that's going to get old on him pretty quickly, but once he gets that roster figured out and that defense figured out, he's going to be a really good player. And just like you guys, I'm going with the Jets and Jason to win that, Clive Vertigo, whatever we're going to go by. He keeps changing his name every other day, it seems like. But he's going to have the better roster. He's going to have a great defense, which is what he's known for. And I think that this division is handmade for him to win. And plus, I watched him in the preseason against D-Money and the Falcons. I know how good D-Money is, and he pretty much dominated the first half of that game. I didn't watch the second half, but he was really rolling. So I do like the Jets to win that division. Let's move over to the NFC, and we're going to reverse engineer it as we did the AFC. We're going to go NFC East, and I'm going to give my predictions first. You got the Redskins, the Giants, the Eagles, and the Cowboys. This is one of the more intriguing divisions in our league. I just think there's a whole lot here that is just super, super interesting. I like what Dawson has over here with the Redskins. Pepper's going to be good. Pepper's, I don't know. Pepper, when he's there mentally and he believes in himself, he's a really, really good team. But, man, sometimes he doesn't believe. But yet he's still pushing for the playoffs every single time. I love the Eagles. They're going to be one of the tougher teams just because they're the Super Bowl winning team. They pretty much come back fully loaded. And who knows what you're going to get with the Cowboys. Sometimes he's hot. Sometimes he's cold. I don't know. It's going to be a really interesting division. Do give me the Eagles, I think, just because talent-wise. Do look for the Giants. It would not surprise me if they win the division. It'll just be a really, really good division. I think a lot like some of the ones that we've seen in the AFC has a lot of potential to be much, much better, or could just be a runaway. So, Dawson, it's your division. We're going to go to you next. What do you think about the NFC East?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough division for me starting out, especially with the defending Super Bowl champions, the Eagles. Andrew, he's been a little quiet, but he's also able to. He's got that loaded roster, so he's going to be able to compete right off the gate. I know Pepper, he said he still has a couple seasons to be before he can start building, but that's a load of hogwash, I guess, because I know he can compete, and he does have Beckham, that 1-year contract left, so I'm not sure if he would have preferred if we used the contract that he just signed or what, because he's going to pay him a lot of money now. I still think he's going to be able to compete. I think, and then Cowboys, Massimo. I know he's trading away a few young players, so I'm not sure if he's getting ready for the draft now or if he's just kind of looking ahead and looking to rebuild where he is right now, since he already has that young players on offense with Dak and Zeke anyways. I think right now it's going to be Giants and Eagles team competing. Myself, I'm not going to put myself there. But like I said, going off right now, I'm going to say Eagles will win the division. And maybe either Giants or even myself, probably I can grab a playoff spot, either that 5th or 6th spot in the playoffs.
Dwayne, what do you think about that NFC East?
This is one of those divisions where I think this one and maybe the NFC South are going to be your toughest divisions in the game. NFC East has 4 owners who have all been division champions. Man, it's really tough. I think the Cowboys, I think Massimo's got a plan up his sleeve because he is trading away some younger guys. But he's bringing back some key pieces. Like I said, he made a trade, traded 2 young guys, but he did get a superstar guy back. I think he's wanting to compete, but wanting to build at the same time, and it's a really tough line to stay on. The Eagles, best team out of the box this Madden. He didn't make a lot of moves. He's really just down to play with the team he's got. One of the best defensive coaches we have here, plays a really solid defense, very underrated offensively. Then you got the Giants and Pepper, who are like I said about Chaotix earlier, one of the best defensive teams here. Can be really frustrating to play against because he's going to make you play a slow, just a slow ground and pound, ugly game. Offensively, when he's on, he's really hard to beat because, like I said, I was talking about Chaotix earlier. He's like Chaotix, just a little bit better offensively. If he can get OBJ, which he's going to throw to Beckham about 85% of the time during the game. If I had Beckham, I'd probably do the same.
I don't blame him.
But yeah, he's going to try to feed Beckham. He's going to try to run the ball. He does have Barkley in the backfield. I think he's ahead of schedule more than he thinks he is. I don't think he's that far away. I think he really underrates his using on the sticks. And then you got the Redskins, who are a very interesting team. I ain't gonna lie to you, I didn't ever see Dawson in a Redskins jersey. I just didn't see it. But I have a hard time seeing him out of anything in a Packers jersey. So I think they're a solid team. I think you got a really good quarterback under the helm there. I think they dodged a bullet by paying Cousins that outrageous money. But they do have some really good pieces in place. I think this division honestly can go any way. I think it's whichever team can get the momentum and keep it going. I do think it's really going to be hard to bet against Philadelphia winning this division outright. Like I said, I think this division could come down to week 16, week 17. If I had to go anywhere, I would honestly say the Eagles, number one, and I would have to go with the Redskins and Giants knocking down the door. Maybe a game back into that last week, really fighting. But I think the Cowboys are a team, they could be 8-9 wins in this division and could put themselves in a place at the end of the season to make a playoff push. I don't think you can honestly say all four of these teams, they could all win this division. But if I had to make a prediction, I'm with the Eagles number one, the Redskins and Giants at number two, knocking down the door, and the Cowboys, like I said, still trying to figure out what they want to do at number four, or in that last place spot right now.
You and you guys is short show, whatever. AFC, NFC West, you got the Seattle Seahawks, the LA Rams, the San Francisco 49ers, the Arizona Cardinals, one of the most just talented divisions, Madden player-wise, but you still got Mr. Mo sitting over there in the NFC West. D-Wayne, let's go to you. What do you think is going to happen in the West?
Seattle Seahawks is what's going to happen. I think even though he is kind of, and he has his way about.
Nope.
Ready to win. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we just lost you for a quick second.
Yeah, I think if anybody believes Mo when he says that he's not going to win this year, you're lying to yourself. I think it's Mo's division to lose. I've told Mo before. I think he either really underappreciates his own stick skills, or he really wants to convince us all that he's not any good on the sticks. But he is. He's a great owner. He's a great player. I think everybody in this division has their hands full. Enough about. I'm not gonna quit making Mo blush. I think the Rams are a team that are just really solid. I think they're one that I think they were like the third or fourth best team out of the box this year. That guy's a great owner. He plays a really good strategy. I think he's got a better team in place this year to compete with Mo. The 49ers, if I'm mistaken, what's it, Savante?
Yep.
I don't know what to expect out of him. I know the 49ers are a solid team, got a great quarterback in place, have really got some pieces to compete, and it'd be interesting to see how he plays in that division. I think even Mo is kind of curious to how that's going to happen and see how that's going to work out. The Cardinals are a team that I think are going to take some building. No, Savante took the Cardinals, didn't he?
Yeah. To be honest, San Francisco and the Cardinals had so many owners, I got confused with all. There was like 20 teams that swapped in like a 3-day period. When one guy quit, 20 teams swapped.
Big Hurt is the 49ers, and that takes it to another level just because you know what you're going to get with Big Hurt. Great offense, very underappreciated defense. He'll compete with Mo day one. I don't think with that roster, and with he just plays a little more loose than Mo does. And that can be hit and miss. And when you're on, and when you're off, you're I think the 49ers people are out there competing. The Cardinals, like I said, that's Savante's team. I think they're kind of a work in progress. They do got a really good young quarterback in place. He's going to have to shed some of them old veterans. And I know it's hard for me to say because I love the old veterans. But you're going to have to shed some of those old veterans and bring some youth into that team. I think he's just on the outside looking in right now just for – not him as a player stick-wise, just from roster standpoint. I think the Seahawks win this division. I think the 49ers are second with the Rams above, right at 500. I think he's going to take some time to learn this game and get a few guys in place. I do think the Seahawks win this division with the 49ers a game or two behind. But I wouldn't sleep on Big Hurt, though. You can never sleep on Big Hurt as an owner and as a player. That division will be very interesting to watch.
Wouldn't surprise me if this turned out to be one of the better divisions in the OMFL, but it could also very easily be one of the worst. Seattle Seahawks have a tough roster. He's going to have to really think through how to rebuild that roster with those salary cap issues that he has. That team got really, really old, really, really fast, but Mo's never had a problem rebuilding his roster. He will win this division pretty easily. The Rams, who is one of my favorite owners here in the OMFL, but after some talks with him this offseason, I think he is in his own head about his talent and about this league and about this game. If he can get out of his own head and get back to enjoying, the guy has beat me before. When that guy is focused and is on a roll and having a good time, he definitely has the talented roster to do it. I believe in him, and I think he could easily be one of our top, 8 players in this league because of that roster and because I've seen him click on all cylinders. the 49ers and Big Herd has the potential to be extremely, extremely good. Savante and the Cardinals is going to take some time. He's been away from the game for a while, and I just think that roster is going to need some help. Dawson, what do you see happening in the NFC West?
Yeah, I agree with all y'all, but we're both y'all. It's Mo's team until we're proven wrong, or Mo's division until it's proven wrong. It's kind of like Cincy. Yeah, he's going to have to work. It's going to be a work in progress, especially with those old, aging players. But the reason he won 4 Super Bowls was because he was able to build a team to that monster team we saw last cycle. So he's able to do that, and I still think he will be able to do that. Rams, they start off pretty loaded in the right off the gate. It's going to be a question remains if the owner will be able to, Crazy B-Man will be able to compete with Mo. Big Hurts, he's always in the mix, always competing, always trying to grab that last playoff spot or even winning the division when he was with the Cowboys a few cycles ago. And then you got the Cardinals. I don't really know very much of Savante, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. I guess he's an old owner. Not sure.
PC days.
Oh, okay. That was long before me. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if he can compete in that division. I think his roster wise, is gonna be not as much as what the Rams are loaded at on defense, or even the 49ers are with Jimmy G. But yeah, I think until we're proven wrong, I'm gonna go with Mo as far as claiming winning the division. But I don't see anybody else making out into the playoffs. I don't see a wild card coming out of this division.
You guys are going to have to tell the wives at dinner that Nate tried to keep this train going. Easy prediction show, but you and Dawson just wanted to talk. Let's go to the NFC North. I'm just messing with you both. Dawson, let's go to you. How do you see the NFC North playing out? You got the Vikings, the Packers, the Lions, and the Bears. Oh my, a lot of really good teams there. Some guys who have a fresh start with Madden 19, and a fresh start always breathes some new life into teams. How do you see this playing out?
Yeah, like you said, it's going to be a fresh start for everybody. Duvall, he was with the 49ers, now he's with the Vikings, and then we got the same 3 owners until Priest gives me the Packers. I guess he's just still going to stay over there, and you got DBL and with the Lions and Outlaw. It's I don't know how it is playing with your favorite team, because you got the players you want to keep, but then you also got to cut and kind of look out, overlooking and kind of have a contingency plan of how to rebuild your roster, and sometimes that kind of get in the mix, I guess, feelings wise and stuff like that. But I'll just keep it simple. I'm gonna go with the Packers and Priest winning the division.
Wow.
Feeling a little biased because Packers, but I think Priest with Aaron Rodgers, he's gonna be able to use the passing attack. But if he gets too crazy, he might throw more interceptions than what he needs to, or what he should, and that could hurt him down the road when he needs to win those tough divisional games.
Your commish, KindaRealNate, is making a decree. Mark the tape. Priest, you got to give up the Packers in Madden 20. We got to let Dawson play with them at least one season. Chaotic and I have this trade back and forth thing. You can be a good dude and trade him off from time to time. The dude picked you to win the division. Come on, man. Give him to him in Madden 19. D. Wayne, how do you see the NFC North playing out?
Well, I think Dawson spoke real well about these guys. You look at Outlaw, who, when Outlaw's engaged, Outlaw can be a very good opponent to play against, offensively and defensively. He's very underrated on the defensive side. I don't put him quite up there with Pepper and Chaotix, but he's a notch below them. He's very, very good on the defensive side of the ball. The Lions, when DBL is engaged, is another person who is a very, very good owner. He's very loyal to his Lions. He's a wild card here because, like I said, you just got to see how long DBL gets engaged. I'm hoping life is straightened out a lot for him. I don't think he's working quite as much as he used to. So I'm hoping to see him stay engaged and stay with his lines. The Green Bay Packers are a team that it varies so much because of the way he plays. He's he is Brett Favre as it gets. He airs it out. He guns it down the field. He plays as wild as can be, and it works for him sometimes, but it doesn't work for him other times. If you remember right, when he had Good as his running back, that was his most successful time because he did have somebody who could run the ball and take the pressure off him throwing the ball down the field. When Priest is on, Priest is on. But like I said, he's got to have a running game to supplement that passing attack. He is good defensively, but I do think he's going to have to make that switch to linebacker. I don't know if he has yet. If he still uses that defensive line, then he's going to take a step back on the defensive side of the ball. As I think me and Dawson both realized that if you use the defensive line, you really take yourself out of the play, and you're susceptible to getting picked apart if you're not using the linebacker. And I hope Priest makes that jump this season. If I'm not mistaken, the last season of last Madden, he did try to make that jump, and I'm hoping he did. The Vikings are going to be a good team. Duvall, that's who took the Vikings, and I think he has to be your favorite out of the box just because the Vikings are one of the best defenses out of the box. And I do think, as much as I'm not the biggest Kirk Cousins fan, I do think he's a legit good quarterback, even if they overpaid for him just a whole lot. But he has the pieces. He has Diggs. He has the running back. I can't remember his name right offhand, but he has a really good running back. I think you have to go with the Vikings out of this division first. I think the other three teams will be right up there fighting for it. If anything, and this is not a knock on Outlaw or Priest. I think DVL engaged is your second best team right now in that division. I just think he just can play really really well when he's engaged. But I do think the Packers will. Thank God he didn't get the Rodgers contract, or he'd be really screwed. But he will have to put some pieces in place to supplement his playing style. Outlaw's the same way. I did try to trade with Outlaw. You hurt my feelings, Outlaw. You shut me down. Didn't even listen to my trade offer. But Outlaw's the guy who's going to get some players in place. But he can be a wild card. I do think Vikings number 1, Lions number 2. And I think the Packers and Bears are fighting it out right there at number 3.
Bunch of chatty Cathys here today. No, just picking. Vikings, I think this is their division, period. I think Duvall is a really, really good player, and I think this, with that team, it's stacked from top to bottom, one of the best defenses that you'll find. It's their division to lose, but like all the other divisions, these are one of those divisions that could go either way, right? If Outlaw's plugged in and focused, he could really, push in this division. Same thing with Lions, same thing with Packers. We've seen all three of those guys do it. I just like Duvall because of his roster, and I think he's the most consistent player here. And that's going to bring us to our last one, the NFC South. You got me and my Saints. You got Colin and the Panthers. Everybody else left us. Dwayne left us. Tanner left us. D-Money is now over in the Falcons. And our buddy, who couldn't be with us because our show came on a little too late, Maniac, is over in Tampa Bay again. I think, outside of me, one of the most talented Madden coach-wise in any other division, with both Maniac, who has been deep into the playoffs every year. I've seen D-Money win many championships in past leagues that I've been in with him, and we know what Colin can do whenever Colin's on a roll. I'm going to go ahead and do my picks and get them out of the way. I think that this is going to be all about the Buccaneers and the Falcons. Honestly, it's a crapshoot. Like, I think throw this up in the air, take me out of it, and just grab a name, and that's probably who's going to win. Look, I know who I am. I can every now and then put a 10, 11-win season together, but I'm going to be an 8-8, 9-17. That's going to be who I am. I got to get the backup quarterback figured out. This will be my 1 year if I'm going to make a run. It's this first year out of the box. After that, I got to rebuild that offensive line, and I got to rebuild the quarterback situation. The Panthers could do this. The Falcons could do this. The Buccaneers easily could do this. I don't care what Maniac says about him and his team. That guy knows how to win. He knows how to win often, and he's consistent. I just got to go with D-Money. Even though I don't like what I've seen against Jason and the Jets last night, it was preseason. D-Money knows how to turn this on. He's got a really great roster to play with. I just think that D-Money is going to win this division and keep that history of what D-Wayne had built there in Atlanta going. But I definitely think one, if not two, wild cards are going to come out of this division. I really like the NFC South. It is not an easy road for me. We're going to toss it over to you, D-Wayne. Actually, no, you know what? I'm going to save D-Wayne. This is your old division. You ran away from here. Dawson, let's go to you. What do you think is going to happen in the NFC South?
All right. Like I said, I think all these owners are great competitors. And even though you said that you're more of an 8-8, 9-7 team, you can compete as far as in this division for what I can see looking in or looking out from the outside. You got Colin, in the Panthers. I think he's making a few moves, or at least he tried to at the moment. I think he will be able to compete at the moment. One thing he has to look for, he's got to find him a receiver. I think what I was looking at, he doesn't have there's not really well-known receivers from what I can see, but he might have a few trades in the work that we don't know of yet. But once he gets that down, I think he's very solid on defense. His import, I think, is a linebacker, so he's going to be able to he's going to use him right off the bat. Don't really know much about Dritch, but I know last season he took I think a low 80s. Indianapolis Colts to the playoffs. So I know he can compete. I know he can make those moves and can build his team. He already made a few moves with the Colts already. I'll let Dakota talk more about that. But it seems like he can build, and he's going to be able to compete for that division. And then you got Maniac. I know Maniac said he's looking to be 2-14 or 4-12
Such crap.
team.
It's not what
I
he's
don't
going
believe
to be.
that at all, and that's what a lot of I see in the main chat. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, this is rebuild mode." I'm not sure if y'all trying to just fool yourself, but you're not fooling me. I know half those guys that are saying that y'all are going to beat me and you're going to compete for the playoff spot. So I'm not believing any of that, at least not until the end of the season 1, when I see how well you can play. But for Maniac, I know he's going to be able to compete, and I think, like you said, I think it's going to be more or less Colin, Maniac, and maybe Dritch if he can figure out that team. But like you said, it is loaded right out of the box. And I think just for a preseason favorite, which it will change, I'm going to go with Colin and the Panthers. And like you said, I do see that second, that last wild card spot come out of this division. So at least 2 playoff teams in this division.
All right, D-Money, bring us home. What do you... D-Money, listen to me. Sorry. See, I'm getting you and Dwayne and the Falcons. That's all I think about is these dumb Falcons who beat me every year. What do you think, Dwayne, is going to happen in NFC South?
Well, I think you said it well when you said it's probably the toughest division in the OMFL. I'm not going to let you get away with saying that you're not up there with these guys. I think if you look at like your Saints team, your Saints are solid. They have a great quarterback, a great defense. I think you can win day one. They do have a lot of youth spread out between it. I think if you look at like the Panthers are a little less talented. And I know that might sound weird. You have Cam and Luke Kuechly and guys like that, but they are less talented on the board all around compared to like the Saints, the Falcons. But you have Colin there, and Colin can pull anything out of something. I mean, he can play. And then you got Maniac, who said he's going to be 4-12, and I just can't help but laugh at that Maniac. But he does have probably the least roster in this division, in my opinion. I think he's the least talented roster all around. I think he's going to have to put his own mark on it. But I think we would be lying to ourselves if we just wrote Maniac off. I don't think Maniac has the talent to go against the Saints or Falcons right now, or even the Panthers. But I think that, like I said earlier, this is the toughest division there is, and I think you have 4 guys who can win this division. Then you go to the Falcons, and he has a solid squad. I think people ignored me when I used to say that it was really easy to be successful on the box of Falcons. The Falcons are just loaded and young and loaded. I mean, you got studs everywhere on that roster. And I say this, that they did a lot for me. They made me look way better than I was. And but I do think it's hard to go against the Falcons to win this division, just because like we've seen what he did with the Colts. We know what roster he's got. He does have Matt Ryan kind of on an expensive contract, but he's got Freeman on cheap contract. He's got Coleman on cheap contract. He doesn't have Keanu Neal anymore. Keanu Neal's not in the South. You're welcome, Nate. I think it's going to be interesting. I think this division could shape up 4 different ways. I think the Falcons win it. I think the Saints and the Panthers are there. You're going to have 2. You could possibly have 3 out of this division playoff teams. And that's nothing against the NFC East. I just think that you're so deep in the South that you could have that. And I think the Saints and Panthers will fight for that second spot. And I think Maniac is and as much as I don't think he's going to be 4-12, I do think it's more of a rebuilding year for him than it is for the other three teams. The Bucks just don't have the talent on paper to have it, and if you actually look at them in real life, they're even worse. So I'm going to go with the Falcons, and then I'll go with the Saints and Panthers fighting probably 9-10 win teams at least, fighting for that second wild card spot out of that division.
All right, now I probably have two very upset women at me as we are waiting to go to dinner. You two are going out tonight, so put a bow on it. Dawson, what do you think about season 80? Your predictions, put a bow on the show.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm pretty excited. Starting out, I know we're going to play the 4 preseason games so we can get a feel of it. Like you said, we're just going to play with all pro settings, or then all Madden, and just revote. Mainly, I think we all just need to play clean. Just no cheese. Report any FPR. That's why we have the feedback forms and the incentives to the way we got the ASP sliders now. We're more or less promoting to do more. To get those incentives, to be more active, be more engaged, and understand everybody's life is different. So, but if you have any questions, just feel free to ask us. Don't just do it and then do it and ask for forgiveness. Ask and then we can just go roll. If we don't know it, then we'll find out and everything. And I think overall, just have fun and play clean.
All right, D-Wayne, get us home so you guys can go eat some cheese and wine.
I think Dawson said well right there. Hey, guys, just remember that it is community over yourself here. I think you just need to remember that, as Nate would always say, the thirst. Don't let the thirst get to you. Don't get crazy just to win the game. Just remember, guys, and it took a long time for me to get like that. Hey, we're a group here. We're a group of friends. I've lost games to friends. I've won games against friends here. Just enjoy it. And like I said, man, just play a clean game. If you have questions, like Dawson said, you got a good board here, a really good board. I might be honest, a great board here. And you can holler at any of us. One of us is awake 24/7. Just when my crazy schedule, Bill gets up before the sun comes up. Nate might be from China to Philadelphia. Dawson's always here. Kay works about as crazy as I do. And like I said, Colin's awake late at night. You can find somebody to talk to if you need something. Like Dawson said, if you can figure it out and get it figured out before we actually make the mistake or we do something wrong, it's a lot easier to figure it out that way. Let's get the content going. I know that, like myself, I probably will wait till that week 3, week 4 of the preseason to get my little article written up. I know I've had guys asking about it. Guys, let's get the Twitter accounts going, the articles going. You ought to look at the incentive packages this year. They have changed a little bit, so it'd be worth looking at. And I'm just excited to get this going. I know it feels like we waited longer this year to get the league started. I could be wrong. I know there was a lot more testing this year to get stuff done and get everything set up. But I think it's worth it. I think it'll be worth it. And guys, take these next 3-4 games serious, because this is going to be the key thing. Once we decide, if I'm not mistaken, I could be stepping on Nate's toes here. Once we decide after this preseason, all Madden or all pro, we're sticking with that the whole season. Right, yeah, Nate? I could be wrong. So take these games serious, and we do need some feedback. Let us know how it feels. And, hey, I'm just excited to get season 80 started.
Yeah, me too. There's so much I want to say, but I promised that I would keep this show short, and the chatty Cathy's kind of ate up all of our time. But I will say this. I hope a lot of people do try to play linebacker. It's with the new assist button, it's helpful. I think that their game is a little bit different from 18, but I do hope that people grow their skills. I was really disappointed on both sides of the fence to get messages from many owners saying that they would leave us if we go all pro, or the vice versa. They'll leave us if we go all Madden. That's pretty disappointing to hear, because the OMFL is as strong as we ever have been in our history. This community is as strong as it ever has been. There's a lot of really great things to look forward to, and I would hope that people would try to grow their skills instead of, well, this just isn't easy enough for me and I want to leave. So I hope that everybody really gives us your true thoughts, know that we will make the best decision that we can. We will let the owners put up the vote, but at the end of the day, I'm going to make the best decision, and and I'm just trying to do the best for the league as a community. The other thing really quick is as soon as I get off of this podcast, do a little reset of the computer here, let this poor thing calm down since it sounds like it's about to rocket itself over to Mars. But I am making brand new rules videos because we have removed a lot of rules. Some of them may go back after the preseason. We need to do some testing, and we're changing a few little things. I will do my best to announce all those changes, but it will be up to the owners to go read the adjustments or watch the videos. We are just trying to clean up what we do and make the rule book reflect what is currently in the game, and the game has changed. So super, super exciting times. Hopefully next weekend we'll have the entire gang here. By the time we get to the next Press Pass Live, the games will count, and we will start to give a feel for what Season 80 is going to look for. Dwayne and Dawson, thanks for squeezing in some time before you guys go to dinner. Go enjoy yourself. For Maniac, who couldn't be here tonight because he's over doing some high school football situation, for all of the leadership here in the OMFL, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you next time. God bless. Peace. Deuces.
Go Hogs.